Welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. If you are a sports bettor, this is the most important hour of your day because the number one sports consultant in America has brought his national radio show and podcast here to YouTube. So while you're here, go ahead and like and subscribe or download the podcast and listen on your schedule. And now, here is our host, the number one sports consultant in America, ready to make you money this week and every week, the Fat Jack.
Hello and welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, the Fat Jack. The weekend is here. October is here. We're falling into profit. What a great September it was for everybody here at the service. Another week in the books, more profit coming our way, and a great time to get signed up if you're betting on the games or going to Kansas or Mississippi or Illinois or New York or New Jersey, one of the many, many states around the country that has sports gambling. Take my plays with you. You will win, as all my clients and I have done through the first month of the season. Thank you so much for joining us over the next hour. We're going to get you ready to make some money this week and hopefully enlighten a few of you on different things going on this week in the game. Let me quickly bring in my co-host from Louisville, Kentucky, Mr. Brandon Rush. How are you, buddy?
I am sunburnt, I am beat up, I am exhausted, and I had a lot of money in my pockets this weekend. So it was a fantastic weekend all in all.
So the festivals went really well, I guess. You didn't get mugged or trampled or anything like that. That's good.
There was a time where I had to spend a few minutes in the medical tent because I caught a knee like to the back of the head from a crowd surfer, mainly because people suck and don't really necessarily tell you, hey, there's a floating human headed your way. So yeah, I missed a little bit of a set on Friday, but rallied and finished the weekend strong. Got some interesting suntan lines. I don't know if you can see those on camera, but like I have a line and then like the back of my neck's really sunburnt. But hey, that was all just the price to pay to go have fun, and it was also fun to have a really nice winning week.
So concussion protocol on Friday.
Yes,
but overall a good weekend.
Yes.
And yeah, the picks very similar, actually. I mean, if you're comparing them to the concert festival, we had a very interesting weekend also. Had a really, we were cocky and riding high through the first part of the week. We won Monday, we won Thursday.
Yeah.
Baseball was winning. It swept on Thursday. Everybody's in the profit. Saturday rolls around. I don't think we're going to lose. I think we're going the whole week. We're not going to lose. So we start out, I think, 4-0 with the first four games, and then we drop a couple late. And then Sunday, we had our first Sunday where we had a little bit of bad luck and had a push on what I thought was a pretty easy winner. And Houston throws an interception late to get a push. So we give back a little bit of profit, but we still won a little on the week. If you're playing the plays over even the week you won, and over the month, you're up a ton of money. So there are going to be weeks where we don't win 10 games in a week. I mean, that's just the way gambling is. So still had a good week, not apologizing for anything. We don't talk about the elite plays much.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's for a reason, because they are literally for higher end players, $300 to $500 a game or more. Guys that like a lot of volume. So risk variance is fine with them. They're okay risking more money because they have huge bankrolls and they want more plays. They're going to go, if they're going to go to the Tennessee game, they're going to play Tennessee. If they're going to go to the Cowboy game, they want to bet on the Cowboy game. So getting that information when they're betting the numbers they're betting really helps them. That elite package costs a little more. I've said this 1,000 times, but everybody gets exactly the same top plays. The best selections go to every single player. It doesn't matter if you sign up for the day, the week, the month, the year, all of you get the same top. But those lower-rated plays, they come from other high-end gamblers. They are also very sound and typically very profitable. And we post those on the website under the results tab. You'll see at the bottom of every week how those elite plays do. 2 weeks ago, they lost a few games, and nobody said a word. Now everybody's like, why didn't you send those out as your top picks? Well, I mean, to tell you why people are a little irritated with it is because they were like 12-4, including a 6-0 sweeper on Sunday.
Yeah. And if you knew that was going to be those that were the six that were going to win, obviously those would have been the top selections that went out. But again, these were lower rated plays, and hey, we had to get lucky on a few of them.
What benefit does it do me to send out a 6-0, not to everybody?
Right.
I mean, I want as a matter of fact, there's an argument to be made. The $50 player needs a 6-0 more than the $5,000 player.
Absolutely.
Because he's betting 50 for a reason, and he's getting the bet. The good news is we're doing great. Everybody's winning, so I'm happy about the year, happy about the week. Everybody's fine, but I do have those days. We'll have a few of those this year where, bad luck happens on one set of
Mhm.
the top plays, but then in the elite plays, everything goes well. Those elite plays were over in the Houston game, easy winner. Cincinnati, Detroit, Jacksonville over. Denver, which was lucky. I turned it off. We had over in the as a selection.
Right.
I didn't even watch the end. We had made so much money with the elite plays after going, I think, 8-4 or something on Saturday. And the top plays were all into profit too. So I was like, we're going to lose this one because it's going way under. And Russell Wilson can't throw it to anybody. Their coaching staff is horrible. I mean, that game's hard to watch. Watching Denver for the rest of the year is going to be very difficult. They match up against some other teams that are tough to watch. But the problem is there are signs of good things happening. So they're going to score some points at some point, but who knows when that's going to be. We're going to look for
Right.
things that are much easier to predict.
Yeah, there are bursts in that offense where you can kind of see, oh, this is why they brought Russell Wilson in and paid him $250 million. The receiving core, I think, is very good. I like Cortland Sutton. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be a fantastic receiver in time. And I thought that maybe they would mesh maybe a little bit quicker, but they definitely have struggled so far. And if you're willingly watching a Denver Broncos game, like as a fan, you might be in an abusive relationship. It might be time to ask for help.
Definitely drinking a lot
Well,
or
something.
drugs.
You gotta
Everybody
quit
in
somehow.
Colorado pretty much is smoking weed every day, all day.
There's a lot, yes.
And so that helps, I think, if you are a Broncos fan. I mean, that's what you're going to do. You got to get high, I think,
Great
because you
great
can't.
breweries up there though too, so.
I love Denver. In Denver, a ton. Everybody's high. Even the homeless people. A lot of homeless people are high. I mean, everybody's high. I mean, it's the way it is in Denver. It's somewhat that way in Vegas, but Denver has cornered the market. You'll see some old boy literally every time I go there driving in the fast lane going 42 in a 70. And 2 and 10, I mean, just locked and loaded. I mean, he
Right.
is locked in 42 miles an hour. Dude's on who knows what. I mean, just give him a wide berth because, he is definitely going to run into something. Exactly. FatJackSports.com. Get signed up today. A huge September. October is a great time to sign up. Not only do you have basketball starting in the middle of the month, the price is October's a big month. So if you sign up through the end of October, you're getting 31 days. You get a bunch of weekends. It's about $100 a week. Very inexpensive for those longer packages. Everything longer than that saves you even more money. October's typically one of our top 3 on average of the 12 months of the year, one of our top 3 almost every single year. September is going to be hard to beat. We had a great September. I mean, just week, day after day. We should talk about our Saturday record. I wrote it down somewhere here because Saturday records have been stupid. If you are getting ready to play the games on Saturday and you're not signed up, what are you doing, brah? 17-5 on Saturdays. 17-5 on Saturday. So a really, really strong start to the year in college, which is the opposite of last year.
Mhm.
Last year, dominating the NFL, 3-1, 4-1, 4-0 every week. And I literally had guys email me and say, you can't pick a college game to save your life. Da, 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 da. I mean, it's just these people are so stupid. But yeah, the reality, I got a deal on Twitter. Got chirping me on Twitter the other day too. Follow us on Twitter @FatJackSports. Unfortunately, he just showed how stupid he is. I mean, I hate it when people do that. I mean, they literally pick up their phone and they go to Twitter or whatever, and they just literally start, here's how stupid I am. Let me start typing. He said the free winners were not winning, and I should let Jordan pick a free winner. So it was just something stupid. He said something ridiculous. On a day, the free winner won. So he says it on a Sunday. The total goes over on Sunday. Houston. I've been trying to give more free winners because everybody's winning.
Sure.
And so I want, because all the clients are winning, I'm trying to get other people in win. And it's going okay, about 50% on the winner. So, if you sign up on the website at fatjacksports.com for a free winner, I think they won with Temple Saturday. I think we had over Houston on Sunday as free winner. So those both won easily. I think we had one. Again, don't really care that much, but because they're free. And they're not released to the clients. You clients out there understand that neither of those were given to you because they're lower rated plays. But free winners were winning over this. I had one guy, and typically I block him and just move on. But I thought, you know what? I'm in a good mood. Everybody's winning, and if that's all they can think to complain about, or enough of the free winners aren't winning, I mean, I really kind of feel sorry for them.
But at the same time, it is a small little bit of enjoyment that comes out of, people kind of telling on themselves.
It does. I mean, you can make a mental note. This guy's a jackass. And so don't ever care about anything he says. Anyway, it wasn't even a big deal. It was just, little something. It's literally where we are when we win. We're winning every week. I mean, this is what I'm complaining about. Some guy mad about a free winner not win. Let's turn to college real quick, and then we're giving away a free winner. Go to fatjacksports.com. Get everything the weekend, about $149. Get everything through. And by the way, hopefully you're not calling on Friday night because I'm traveling to London. Got stuff going on over there. And the first is on Saturday. So we are going to be so swamped on Saturday morning.
That's a perfect storm of mayhem.
It really is. So just, guys, get signed up early. If you're listening to the podcast on Wednesday or Thursday, sign up Wednesday or Thursday. Extend your package Wednesday or Thursday. Everybody's going to extend. If you're not extending, you should quit gambling forever. I mean, honestly, it should be 100%. If you're on a monthly package and you don't extend, you need to quit. If you figured out a way not to win in September, quit right now. Because it's literally impossible.
Between football and baseball and UFC, yeah. If you didn't make money in September, you are doing something horribly wrong.
Everything wrong. Go read the questions tab for sure. Figure out what you did wrong. Probably take a break, and then come back with a because it's impossible not to win. September was a great month. Everybody's going to renew. The question is how many of people are going to wait until 10:54 on Saturday morning to renew and miss the early games. Mm-hmm. Don't be that guy because you're going to miss them. I mean, they go out automatically, but if you do any type of email me for the sign up for the longer one or an express package, you're going to miss out on the 11 a.m. Central game. So don't do that. Go to fatjacksports.com and win. Last week, college football. Brandon, what'd you think?
Solid week for teams like Tennessee. Really kind of proved they can hold their own against a lot of the upper echelon of teams. Some teams kind of fell flat though. I mean, you look at Oklahoma, you look at Miami. Those are games that I think that maybe caught some people by surprise. But how would you like to be Arkansas today? You blow a 14-point lead. I mean, there's a lot to take away from last week, but more good than bad for a lot of teams.
Yeah, from a gambling perspective, last week teams there's a highlight reel of great teams that the public likes to bet on seemingly every week that aren't covered. Last week it included Georgia, Mississippi, Clemson, Penn State, Pittsburgh, Oklahoma, USC, among others. So if you're a guy that lives in any of those markets, likes to play your favorite team, you gave away money last week. And we did, by the way, side note, we did not have any of those teams. Nope. Not one of them. There are now 8 teams that are 4-0 against the spread. This is the list. This is also a very reflective list of how the general public's doing betting on sports right now, even on Saturdays when we're 17-5. 8 teams are 4-0 against the spread. Arkansas State, Minnesota, who we did have.
Yep.
Oregon State, they were in elite play. South Alabama, who I gave everybody last week against UCLA.
Yep.
Southern Miss, UNLV, Washington, and Kansas.
Spot the theme here. These are not traditional blue bloods. These are teams that are flying under the radar and are beating expectations.
They're not in the game of the week at 10 a.m. or at noon.
Nope.
They're not in the ESPN Saturday night or ABC Saturday night.
No primetime games for the Jayhawks.
Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to win with those games that are in those primetime spots. A lot of times we do. And those are more fun, obviously. You want to do things like that when they're on. But it doesn't matter. What you want to do is be up. We're 4-0 by the time we even hit the late evening game. So you want to be doing that, playing these teams that are going to cover for you early in the day, building profit. That way, by the time the evening rolls around, it's a little bit like last Sunday. We were up on the week. We had lost on Sunday. So what? I go to bed. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter because we're so deep into profit. It doesn't matter. If you're out there betting and you're not in that exact situation, get signed up right now at fatjacksports.com. Sign up today and win this weekend. Quickly on Oklahoma, Kansas State. We're on in Oklahoma. We're on in Kansas City. We're on in Wichita. We're on all over this part of the country. What were your thoughts on what happened there? Because I have a definite opinion.
Massively, it appeared to be that Oklahoma came in massively unprepared for this game. Schematically, you could tell early, and it seems that early in every game that Oklahoma's played this year, the opposing offenses and defenses have the upper hand, have a better game plan going in. This was the first time, though, that Oklahoma hadn't adjusted, and they didn't do anything to kind of stop the run. There was never, I think, a concerted effort to spy Martinez, and that ended up gashing him late.
A couple things. By the way, I've talked for weeks that I thought
This
Oklahoma
kid. Yeah.
was going to lose at least 2 or 3 games. I've said
Mhm.
that a number of
Sure.
times. And by the way, there's no rest for the weary. They have TCU this week. That's not a terrible team. They've got some athletes also. The Martinez, you know what he reminded me of? You heard the story of the car that lands on the mother, and then the mom picks up the car. She gets
you get that superhero strength, right?
superhuman, superhero, out of body experience strength. Pick up the car off your child. The child crawls out, and you don't have any idea how that actually happened. That to me is Martinez.
That was Adrian Martinez in a nutshell for 3 hours on that Saturday. Yep.
He literally took his cape. He had an out of body experience.
Yep.
That he can't explain either.
Yeah,
I don't believe
if you've seen him any in the previous 7 years, it feels like at Nebraska, he never had a game like that.
It's by far his best game he's ever played at all. Not even close. Now I will tell you, Oklahoma's defense had a little to do with that. Obviously,
Sure.
We didn't know where they were athletically. We knew where they were schematically. Knew they were going to swarm the ball, but athletically, don't really know. I don't think we still really know. But I will tell you, Martinez had the game of his life, without a doubt, at the wrong Saturday for Oklahoma Sooner fans. And so we still don't know exactly. What we do know is that Kansas State last Saturday was better than OU. I mean, on both sides of the ball, honestly.
They're a well-coached team. I mean, that Kleiman has done a spectacular job since he's come over from North Dakota State, won 7 national titles at FCS. And if he can come in and do anything in the Big 12, that's going to prove how good of a coach he is and how good that staff is.
But honestly, if you're a OU fan, you need to worry a lot more about this week. Because TCU is not horrible. Oklahoma is 5-0 straight up the last 5 in the series. But if you say, okay, Martinez had an out of body experience, Oklahoma didn't adjust. They came in a little flat against a much better team that we talked about was good and had a look over spot against Tulane. So if you believe all that, they need to take care of business this week, because the Big 12 does not get any easier after this, especially when you're looking at teams like Kansas. And who's the worst team in the Big 12? Who's the worst team in the Big 12 right now?
West Virginia, maybe?
Who, by the way, has a win against Virginia Tech.
Right.
And could have beat Pitt.
Yep.
I mean, these
should have.
I would say who's the best team in the Big 12. I don't know who that is either, but I don't know who the worst is. By the way, I'm not afraid of my Baylor Bears right now for my long shot pick in the Big 12. They went up 1 at Iowa State. It's a good win for them.
They got Oklahoma State this weekend.
But there is no rest for the weary if you're really anybody in the league, which is great for the league because there's a lot of parity, but I don't know who the best team is. I like Texas Tech last week. We released them against Texas. So is Texas bad or is Texas Tech good? I don't know. You can throw a blanket over most of these teams, including the doormats like Kansas that aren't a doormat. 4-0 against the spread, 4-0 straight up, and have good wins. So hold on to your hat, Big 12, because there's going to be some fans that are going to be put to the test this year, I'm afraid, because there's a lot of parity in this league.
Yep.
If you don't want to have to guess who's winning, though, go to fatjacksports.com. Get signed up today. We're going to win again this weekend. It's time for you to win. Less than $100 a week. Get you all the plays either through Halloween, through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, through the Super Bowl, all very expensive. The longer packages save you a ton of money, and adding basketball now that starts in 2 weeks. Adding basketball now saves you about half price versus waiting until November 1st. It's a great time to sign up, great time to add basketball, and a great time to win. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, give away 2 winners in the free segment, in this next segment, because I know everybody loves a free winner. So we're going to do that. We're going to take a quick break, come right back, get you ready to make some money this weekend. You're listening to the Fat Jack Sports Hour.
If you are looking for more action this week, Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. With multi-sport prop entries, you can mix and match your action every day from almost anywhere in the country. Sign up with promo code FATJACK and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's $100 when you sign up with promo code FATJACK. Go to prizepicks.com or download the app and sign up with promo code FATJACK to get in on the action today.
Cash in on the best picks with BP Odds.
Coming at you from Las Vegas.
Hear from the experts as we break down the history and the storylines of the biggest games.
Catch BP Odds right here.
Beat the Odds, sponsored by Superbook Westgate, Las Vegas.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack. Are you betting on the games? My clients and I are wrapping up a great September. $100 players up almost $3,000 betting my play since the start of August. Are you ready to finally start winning? Go to fatjacksports.com and fall into profit this October. You can get all the plays through Halloween for less than $100 a week or save a lot of money on those longer packages. Hoops start in the middle of the month, and adding them now saves a ton. Go to fatjacksports.com, sign up today, and win. fatjacksports.com.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and now here is our host, the man putting money in your pocket this October. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour, segment number 2. Just a great start to the year. Great time to get signed up. If you're not signed up already, it's like you calling the day after Christmas and saying, hey, how was Christmas? Christmas was awesome, because Christmas is always awesome. And if you miss it, you can't get it back. I mean, there's no way to get it back. But you know what? Doesn't mean that New Year's isn't coming, and Easter's not coming.
Thanks. You got what? St. Patrick's Day. You got Valentine's. It's
all coming, exactly. So you don't want to miss those, because if you call it the day after St. Patrick's Day, I can't get you green beer back. Let's take advantage of these weeks before they pass. And start winning now. Go to fatjacksports.com. The prices are not going to get any lower than they are right now until the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, best time to sign up for the entire year, not even close. Between now and then, we are in the middle of it. Everybody's winning. Everybody's building profit. I can't even run a special for you because you decided not to sign up. Don't be that guy. I can't do you a favor because you've been playing free winners and losing all your money on your own. What I can do is get you in the system for less money today than you're going to pay a month from now. And I can start building you profit over the next month. So there's a lot of good going on, but it's not going to come at any type of discount with the service because we're dominating. We're absolutely dominating. We're going to keep dominating. So go to fatjacksports.com, sign up today, and win this weekend. Let's give away a free winner, Brandon.
I'm ready. You want college? You want NFL? Where are we going here?
Let's start in college. We were talking a lot of college before the break. We'll stay in college. What game jumps out at you? I
mean, Oklahoma State Baylor this week is going to be a big one. We talked a lot about the Big 12 in the last segment about who is the best team. A win Saturday between either of these teams really could put them in the driver's seat. And you and I both holding futures tickets on Baylor to win the Big 12 would definitely relish an opportunity to get a leg up early.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I don't have any idea who's going to win the Big 12. Just to say, I liked Baylor's a long shot with the odds we were getting.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like Oklahoma. Didn't like any of the teams that were above them. Felt like they were vulnerable. The season's played out very similar to what I thought. As far as we have a ton of parity, I don't hate my play. I'm just saying that I mean, literally, if you ask somebody right now who's going to win the Big 12, there's 6 or 7 teams, maybe more. I mean, if you live in Lawrence, Kansas, they're going to be irritated you're not including Kansas in that, and rightfully so. If you take the names off the front of the jersey, Kansas is they do the resume stuff when you're going into the tournament in basketball.
Right.
Kansas' resume is as strong as anybody. So I'm not counting out anybody at this point. As silly as that sounds, to win the Big 12, I wish I had $1,000 on Kansas to win it. They were probably $1 million to 1.
Special, yeah. But I mean, you're right. I mean, wins against West Virginia, Houston, and Duke. There's a lot of Power 5 schools that would like to have that kind of resume right now.
Yeah, and a lot of the teams that we would consider favorites don't have anything near that. So Oklahoma State going to Baylor, that certainly helps them. Oklahoma State, we're going to see where they are. They basically Michiganed it the first part of the year and played absolutely nobody.
Yep.
And they come off a bye, so we're not sure exactly where they are. Oklahoma State has covered 5 of the last 5 on the road, so they typically have traveled well. This is by far their biggest test. What do you think? Who do you like in the game?
I learned a lot about Baylor in that game at BYU a couple weeks ago. That is a team that we saw really kind of peak towards the end of the year. It feels as if that they're on that same kind of trajectory where they kind of are on a light jog to start September, and then they pick up the pace a little bit. That game, even though they lost that game at BYU, kind of showed me that they are of that ilk, that they can go in there and they're not afraid to play anybody. And you're right. The fact that this game is at home, that team plays a lot different in Waco than they do most anywhere else in the country.
And Oklahoma State is number 9 in the country. I guess that's why Baylor's only 2.5-point favorite at home, because I think quality of wins is not even close. And I look at Oklahoma State like I did Oklahoma before this last week. Like I would look at a lot of like USC before their last game. I mean, where there's more questions than answers. Maybe they're good, but maybe they're not. I just don't know that we know. I mean, we are heading into October. We should be figuring it out. And this is absolutely a spot. I think if you're a Oklahoma State fan, the fact it's only 2.5 is good for you because Baylor has more quality wins and a quality loss on their schedule.
I think when we look back at this game, sorry to interrupt you, but I think when we look back at this game, that this is going to be like very obvious after the fact to be like, well, of course that was going to happen because X, Y, Z. But because we don't know how the game plays out, I think there are a lot of questions about how both these teams stack up coming in.
And that's why it's a free winner here on the show that people can be critical about, because there's a ton of easier spots. I think it's not about who's good or bad. It's about question marks.
Yep.
You get into October, it's what do we know and what do we don't know, and what can we try to get out in front of the curve with. And I think with Oklahoma State, there's still too many unknowns to release them. So I will take Baylor minus the points because I think they're more battle tested. And as you said, after the fact, I think we may look back and say, well, that, Oklahoma State had done enough. They'd only played the people on their schedule in front of them, and now they win. So, but I'm on Baylor minus the 2.5 is your first free winner of the day. 800-298-1383. Go to fatjacksports.com, especially if you're listening to this over the weekend, because we are going to be absolutely swamped. We're already swamped, but we're going to be super swamped, if that's a thing. Swamp busy on Saturday because it's the first of the month. Everybody wants to renew, but they didn't want to renew until they had to. All those type things. So don't get into that mess. Get signed up today and start winning at fatjacksports.com. NFL going to London this week, Brandon. It's big for them, big for us. I'll be there in London covering the games, doing some stuff for the TV show, doing stuff on Sirius. Follow us on social media at FatJackSports if you want to get updated information on what's going on in London. The next couple of weeks, I'll be there this weekend. I'll be there next weekend covering the NFL stuff and making money in British pounds. You know what I don't like about British pounds, Brandon?
That they don't actually weigh a pound?
No, I'd need a wheelbarrow to go bet if they weighed a pound. I don't like, they don't have hundreds. So when you're
what denominations do they got here?
Well, 50s. There might be 100, but they're like $1,000 bills in America. I think there are some $1,000 bills, but I don't have any. And they don't give you 100-pound British pounds. So when you walk into a casino and you want to bet, I don't know, $3,000 or whatever, that's like 60 bills.
Whew.
I mean, it's a lot of bills.
That's labor intensive, and now I understand, how those wads of cash that you see sometimes. It's just a lot of stacked 50s instead of hundos.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it is. It is not. It's not hundos over there. It's only 50s and they're very slippy. Also, they're slippery. So when you take
different texture on the dollar.
Yeah, totally different texture. They're like slick plastic. So you take them out. And next thing you know, it's confetti. You're making it rain because it slides. You got a whole stack of like 50 bills, and you're trying to peel them off. Next thing you know, they're flying everywhere.
52-card pickup.
52-card pickup, and you're in a place where the average dude, it's like hanging out at a 7-Eleven. I've talked about this before, but there's no Westgate Superbook over there. There's no Wynn Casino. It is literally, I'll walk down a block of a 200-yard block, and there will be 3 places to go in and bet. But just like you don't want to go hang out at the 7-Eleven or the Dollar General, you don't really want to hang out in there. You go in there, you place your bets, and leave. I'm going to find out. We're going to do some stuff that's going to be on the TV show and online about the online element, because I don't think there is. It's not app-based, although I'm going to find out, though, because that would make things a lot easier.
You always see websites advertise, especially like during soccer matches in the Premier League and a bunch of places over there. But yeah, I don't know the app elements, what's allowed or if it even exists over there.
I think it does exist. I just don't think it's as prevalent as it is here. The new states have totally gone that way in America. I mean, you only go into a casino if you have to in most of the new states that have legalized sports gambling. So
wasn't the stat that came out last year, the like 70-something% of the wagers placed in the states that legalized within the last 2 years were mobile?
Yeah, it's at least 70, might be more. And the newest stat that I've seen a couple times are the amount of people that are betting in game from a stadium. I guess 20%.
Enough to know exactly where it is.
20. Well, yeah, and yeah, when you're in the stadium, I guess it goes through a different deal. And 20% of all the tickets sold had hit on the mobile app from the Philadelphia Eagles game this last week.
Wow.
20%, that's a huge number. I mean, 20% of the general public's not gambling, but it shows where fandom is being fueled.
And vested interest.
Exactly. People, it makes perfectly good sense to those of us that are gambling, but a lot of people out there are like, oh my gosh, they go to the game and now they're betting from there. Yeah, they're all betting from there. Everybody's betting. It might be $5 on whether, Jalen Hurts is going to pick up a first down or not.
Yep.
Or whatever he can do. But yeah, they're all betting on something because and that isn't, I'm not saying it's right. Those are the numbers that we live right now. Where most people in America that are sports fans have at least dabbled in trying to make money at it, and most of them are losing. So another reason to get signed up at fatjacksports.com. Turn to the NFL real quick. We got enough time to look at NFL, right, Brandon?
We do, absolutely, yes.
So turn to the NFL a little bit. 0-3 teams don't make the playoffs 97% of the time. So if you are a fan of one of the 0-3 teams out there, you can probably clear up your after Christmas vacation plans and go ahead and take that trip to Mexico.
Yeah, Raiders. Sorry about your luck.
Unfortunately, yeah, and they've been, they're really close. If there is an 0-3 team that you would say, okay, this team could still get there. I mean,
Right.
There are 3% of the teams that do make it. I mean, the Raiders would certainly be in that mix. I mean, they've played a tough schedule, a lot of them in their division, which is not great for them. And they've gotten some really, at least one really, really bad beat. So, but yeah, 0-3 teams don't typically make the playoffs. This last week, the most bet games in the NFL, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. So the general public at 1-3 in that. I shouted from the rooftops last week, don't bet Kansas City.
Yep.
On every station.
It was the largest spread going into the week, or at least midweek, of any of the games, and they struggled.
Spread me money-wise. Yeah, there's more money. It was more of a decision for the sports books in Vegas than any other game.
Yep.
Was Kansas City and Indy. But everybody looked at it and said, how can they not? And again, like I did with Dallas, Cincinnati the week before, I said, listen, I'm not going to necessarily always put you on Dallas with a backup quarterback when they play Cincinnati. I'm not going to put you on Indy because I also don't know they're going to fumble a punt inside the 5, go for a fake field goal when they went for all the things Kansas City fans will tell you they did that they shouldn't have done and could have at least covered. But the reality is all that happened. And it's going to happen every week in some games, and I will keep my guys off of those games. I may not put you on the side I can't see how they're going to cover win, but I'm going to keep you off the one that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. And if you're a gambler in Kansas, a lot of those people lost a ton of money last week playing their Chiefs in that really, really classical trap spot that we see every week in Vegas.
All the money that they won on the Jayhawks and Wildcats on Saturday, they turned around and gave right back to the sports book on the Chiefs on Sunday.
And most people there are not buying into the Jayhawks just yet. I've been shouting from the rooftops for a month now how good Kansas was. But up there, they've been slower to get on board. I do a couple shows up there, and they're not all jumping on the Jayhawks. Kansas State, a lot more so, but they're always afraid of OU from up there as well. So, yeah, any of that money they made, they gave back. And Buffalo was another one. Everybody liked Buffalo, even with their injuries in secondary. They ended up not getting there. So, Baltimore's the only one that got there, and they actually had a chance late to not give it up. So, another kind of just public service announcement. Don't bet with the general public. Get signed up at fatjacksports.com. 3-0 teams against the spread in the NFL, they do not cover the vast majority of the time in week 4. 40% cover rate of the 3-0 teams against the spread from the start of the season. In week 4, they only cover 40% of the time. So look to play against Detroit, look to play against Miami, and look to play against the hot Atlanta Falcons, your ex-team, that are all 3. And if the Giants win Monday, there would be the other team that would be 3-0 against the spread. But those 3 teams, Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, all have done really well against the number so far this year.
I like it. But you look at the games that they have this weekend. Detroit hosting Seattle, who has had moments. I think Atlanta hosting Cleveland, which has been interesting every week.
So those are the teams you want to look to playing against this week. And like I say, that's not the only thing. You can't just line up. I'm going to give you these little stats, and if you're running to the sports book and say, "Well, let's play against the 3-0 teams against the spread," that seems easy. That's not what we're trying to do here. I'm not telling you to go play those teams. What I am telling you is we're trying to get you on a path to success. So if you're going to sign up, that would be one of 10 things. If I like Carolina last week, because I like teams that they start 0-2 versus the number and straight up, they cover at a 63% rate. I'm not going to play Carolina last week simply because of that one stat. But what it is going to do is start me down the path to where I can get 5 or 6 more pieces of information to get me on the winning side. So that's the way you use this information. So don't necessarily just automatically go anti-Detroit, Miami, and Atlanta, but take that information and then add 5 more pieces of information to it, and then you'll have a game that 6 out of 10 times hopefully will get you on the right side. If you don't want to do that, get signed up at fatjacksports.com. I'll do it for you. That's literally while I'm here. So getting you on the right side of the games and letting you win. Free winner number 2. Let's look at Washington. No, let's not. Let's look at the Giants and Chicago, Brandon. What do you think about this one?
Chicago is a team that I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out because they're much like Denver, have moments offensively where I'm like, okay, they kind of have their stuff together. Defensively, I think they're getting overlooked. But all in all, that's a team that is playing at least better for 60 minutes than I thought that they were capable of maybe a month ago.
Yeah, and they've been very advantageous turnover-wise also.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really helped them. So I think that it's one of those spots. This is an underplay for sure if you're going to play the game. Justin Fields is now 9-5 to the under over his 14 starts after going, or excuse me, 9-5 to the under. That's exactly right. After this last week went over the total. But for the most part, they're not taking a lot of chances offensively, and neither are the Giants. 4 of the last 5 in the series have gone under the total. 5 of the last 5 New York Giants home games have gone under the total, and 11 of the last 13 New York Giants games overall have gone under the total. The Bears are not going to do anything to take it over the total.
Right.
I mean, there might be a neutral, but they're not that fun and gun, take you out of your game plan type team. They will gladly short passes on third down, punt it, try to win time possession, and not make a mistake. So everything leads under the 39.5. That'll be your second free winner of the day, Chicago and the Giants under the total. 800-298-1383, fatjacksports.com. If you're betting, guys, get signed up now. Less than $100 a week to win. A huge weekend of college and NFL football. We're going to get our October off to the same start we got our September off to, and get people deeper into profit. Take advantage of that. Get signed up today and start winning before basketball starts here in the middle of the month. Add those plays now to save even more.
Hey, it's Brandon Rush from the Fat Jack Sports Service. If you want to stay in touch with everything related to the Fat Jack, follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. We are there at Fat Jack Sports. You can also watch the Fat Jack Sports Hour on YouTube every weekend. Plus, see funny clips from the show, see Jack's appearances on the nationally syndicated TV show Beat the Odds, and get primed for more profit every week with Bets and Breakfast, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. only on YouTube. Stay connected to the Fat Jack at Fat Jack Sports on all the socials and on YouTube.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack. Are you betting on the games? My clients and I are wrapping up a great September. $100 players up almost $3,000 betting my play since the start of August. Are you ready to finally start winning? Go to fatjacksports.com and fall into profit this October. You can get all the plays through Halloween for less than $100 a week, or save a lot of money on those longer packages. Hoops start in the middle of the month, and adding them now saves a ton. Go to fatjacksports.com, sign up today, and win. fatjacksports.com.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and now here is our host, a man who is not a monster and did not get married during football season. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you, Brandon, so much. Fat Jack Sports Hour, segment number 3, getting you ready for a winning weekend. What's the problem, Brandon? You got something going on this weekend?
Got a wedding I'm going to Saturday, and I firmly believe that if you get married during football season, you either have to do one of two things. You either need to do it like early, like no one does like a breakfast wedding. Why doesn't anyone do that when games aren't on? Or you do it super late to where I don't have to sweat out a game while I'm sitting there wearing a shirt and a tie.
Brandon, let me just tell you, if somebody gets married on a Saturday in the fall during football season,
they're not.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but they're probably a homosexual.
I don't know. I went to a gay wedding on a Saturday, and it was phenomenal, but it was not during football season.
I'm not against it. I'm not against any of it. I'm
No,
just
no.
simply saying that you're probably not. There's anything wrong with it. But if you're getting married, it's not American to get married on a Saturday in football season at all. And if you're either what's another word for whipped? Is that okay to say whipped? Probably.
Just that, yes.
I've said it twice.
Okay.
So you're either so whipped that you are allowing somebody, either if you're a woman and you're allowing the man to do it because you're a football fan, don't do that either. I don't care if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're gay, you're straight, don't get married on Saturday in October. And if you do, elope. Do everybody a favor. Don't put him in that position where you're going to ask people to choose between a full Saturday of football and coming to watch you do your wedding bliss. It's ridiculously selfish to me.
The worst part is it's a Catholic wedding, so it's going to take like forever.
Load up your pockets with crab cakes, Brandon.
Trust me, I am getting a plate full.
Take a flask, a couple of flasks, get a fanny pack, wear it under your suit, and load that. You better get your money's worth if you're going to a wedding on a Saturday in football season.
Yep.
And by the way, when the catering bill's more, it serves you right. If you're out there and you get married on a Saturday, it serves you right. FatJackSports.com. Get signed up and start winning. Don't get married. And if you do, by the way, if you get married on a Saturday in football season, don't invite me. And this includes my children. Don't invite me. I don't want to go. I'm not going. I'd be embarrassed to show up.
If Jackson gets married on a Saturday during the fall, you're not going.
I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah, I won't. I will not go. He needs to not do. He won't do. My son loves me too much.
Right, and he loves football too much to do it.
Yeah, the dude was all-American football player at University of Chicago. He played the game at a high level. He knows the faux pas that would. And all of his friends are football fans. They all gamble on game. The last thing they're gonna do now, his girlfriend is gonna be fiance. She couldn't care less about football. So there is that little in the back of my mind that says if she was in control, but God, I hope not, because that would
35 other weeks of the year you can choose from.
I would be such a distraction. I would literally be such a distraction. I would have like 3 phones set up where I'm watching the online wedding. I wouldn't talk to anybody. It'd be the worst. So just don't do it. All right. Save everybody the misery, especially if you're one of my children. And do not get married on a Saturday. 800-298-1383, fatjacksports.com. We're getting ready for a big weekend, less than $100 a week. Big October's here. Basketball starts in the middle of the month. UFC's going again this weekend. They've won 4 out of every 5 weeks. There's baseball is killing it over the last month. No reason in the world not to get signed up, unless you want to lose. We talked about ego, and ego will keep guys out of successful situations in all parts of their life, and none more such than sports gambling.
Absolutely. It's probably the most costly of all of them.
It is, because it's hard to admit that. And by the way, some of my clients have the biggest egos in the world. Guys that get my play. Jim Traber, I love dude, one of my best friends.
I love Jim.
But no bigger ego in the world than Jim Traber. There are bigger ones, but not many.
Not in your circle, at least.
But, he's super smart also,
yes.
Super talented, and is able to understand, here's what I'm an expert at, here's what I'm great at, and here's what I would get help with if I was doing. And he's actually, his brain is bigger than his ego. Which most guys who have an ego, it's not. Their ego is the biggest thing, so they don't get signed up. So get over your ego. Get signed up at fatjacksports.com. And if you're going to have a big ego, just have a bigger brain. That's all I'm saying. Because I'll help you win, but I can't do it if you don't sign up, if you insist on losing on your own. We have time for a free winner. We want to get out of here.
We do. We got about 2 minutes left. So.
All right, 2 minutes left. Let's look at another NFL game going on Sunday, give people something to do as they head in. Atlanta hosting Cleveland. Brandon, it's Atlanta teams. I said 3-0 against the spread. Really good start to the year. 3-0 against the spread since 2003, or 20-40-1 against the spread. 27-40-1. That's 40% in week 4 of covering. So I would steer clear of all 3 of those teams, and I will steer clear of Atlanta here. Cleveland, a small favorite. Offensively and defensively, their lines, if Atlanta doesn't get a block punt against the Rams, they don't cover that. I think that this is a much tougher spot for Atlanta when they get Cleveland up front. Interior offensive defensive line, they're really good. Cleveland's covered 4 of the last 5 in the series, and I like them again. I'd lay the 3 and play Cleveland on the road at Atlanta.
Atlanta spent 2 weeks on the West Coast, played in LA, then played in Seattle. So they're going to have a little bit of a travel hangover going back home and play a team that will dominate them on both sides of the line, I think.
Yeah. So and they've what goes up must come down, and I
Yep.
think that probably comes down a little bit. So thank you for staying with us, guys. We're the podcast portion of the show. If you've stayed with us and you're listening online, congratulations. We're going to give you more free winners, and we appreciate you doing that. Brandon, before we do, I was at the sports book. I flew out on Saturday this last week, and they're just really stupid people that are betting on sports. And sometimes I overhear things that I wish I didn't overhear. Guy looks up at the screen last week, says, "Hey, Baylor's beating Iowa State." The Golden Bears. Boy, those Golden Bears, they are really getting after it. And the other guy next to him says, no, they're just the Bears. They're not the Golden Bears. They're the Bears.
Right.
And he says, well, who are the Golden Bears? And the guy says, Tulsa. Tulsa's Golden Bears. But, oh, yeah, Golden Bears. I love the Tulsa Golden Bears. This is what I'm dealing with, Brandon. These are the people that are taking their hard-earned money and going up to the window.
What's always fun is to go to the window and hear someone say, yeah, I want so-and-so negative 3.5.
Yeah, it's like, get back. Somebody should slap them in the face with a glove, say, go get back in line, and let's figure out how to do this before we get up to the window. Or when they walk up and say, who are we going to bet today? And they start looking at the board.
Who's Alabama playing today?
Yeah, it's like, who's Alabama? You know what? I think I'm going to take Alabama. That kind of stuff. Yeah, those are the worst. So let's get some people out of that mode and get them into some winning games. Let's give away a couple each, Brandon. Who you like your first free winner?
Jaguars and the Eagles. You got a combined 5-1 record between these teams. One with the Jags being a little bit better than I think most people gave them credit for. This week they play the Eagles, who are undefeated and really playing well. Going into Philly, that place has always been tough to play, but I really liked what I saw out of the Jaguars last week against the Chargers. I'm going to take the Jaguars here plus the 6.5. This offense really kind of has things clicking. Trevor Lawrence is kind of coming into his zone, and Travis Etienne might have been the missing piece that this offense is needed to really kind of be a spark plug.
You know how hard it is to break down a game without applying recency bias?
It absolutely is, and I like many people fall into that trap, I'm sure.
4 of the last 5 Jacksonville games on the road have gone over. 5 of the last 7 Jacksonville games overall have gone over. And 5 of the last 6 Philly games at home have gone over. My first free winner over the total in the Jacksonville Philly game. What's your second one?
No, I didn't know we were going to tag team it. That's fun.
We are.
So following the recency bias, Colts Titans this weekend. The Colts finally got a win. Titans finally got a win. But Indy at least has been competitive in all these games. But they struggle in the red zone. They are struggling to really kind of put pieces together. This total can't be. I don't see how this game gets in the 40s. I think this one goes under because these defenses are good. Both their teams are very committed to running the football, and if any team gets into the above the 20, I'll be shocked.
9 of the last 11 road games for Tennessee have gone over, but you like the under in that one.
Yep.
I can't argue with it. Indy's so conservative offensively, and they are at home that I don't think there's going to be any need for Tennessee to open it up unless they happen to turn it over early. My last one
is capable of.
Yeah, exactly. My last one will be Buffalo at Baltimore. 4 of the last 5 in this series have gone under, a lot like what we talked about with Tampa Bay and Green Bay last week. These high-powered, high-profile quarterbacks, the defenses do a very good job of limiting offensive possessions and limiting success in the red zone. I'll take under the 54.5 with Buffalo-Baltimore, even with some of Buffalo's injuries in the secondary is my last one. Guys, get signed up at FatJackSports.com. Thank you for listening to the podcast of the show. Take these free winners, do something great with them. Good luck. Follow us on the social media platforms at FatJackSports. Free information and winners coming from London this week, and much, much more to get you into a great weekend, even if you have to go to a wedding. Brandon, final thoughts?
Even though the people at the wedding don't know it yet, there is going to be some karaoke going on whilst the party is going on, because I'm going to be eating and singing. So
if you can't do what you want, distract the people from doing what they want.
Exactly.
That's what I always
give burden to everybody else.
That's exactly right. Guys, till next week, wager responsibly, drive, don't drink and drive, and have a great week. From Brandon the Fat Jack, this has been the Fat Jack Sports Hour.
Hey, it's Brandon Rush from the Fat Jack Sports Service. If you want to stay in touch with everything related to the Fat Jack, follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. We are there at Fat Jack Sports. You can also watch the Fat Jack Sports Hour on YouTube every weekend. Plus, see funny clips from the show, see Jack's appearances on the nationally syndicated TV show Beat the Odds, and get primed for more profit every week with Bets and Breakfast, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. only on YouTube. Stay connected to the Fat Jack at Fat Jack Sports on all the socials and on YouTube.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack. Are you betting on the games? My clients and I are wrapping up a great September. $100 players up almost $3,000 betting my play since the start of August. Are you ready to finally start winning? Go to fatjacksports.com and fall into profit this October. You can get all the plays through Halloween for less than $100 a week, or save a lot of money on those longer packages. Hoops start in the middle of the month, and adding them now saves a ton. Go to fatjacksports.com, sign up today, and win. fatjacksports.com.